After Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire crushed it at the box office, it became obvious. The MonsterVerse isn't slowing down anytime soon. What started as a risky experiment is now a fully formed cinematic universe with a loyal fan base and some serious commercial power. The producers have been clear about it too. This is just the beginning. One of the key voices backing that vision is producer Mary Parent, who told The Hollywood Reporter that the team is thrilled to keep expanding the MonsterVerse. She admitted these films aren't cheap to make, but the payoff is simple. The bigger the movie, the bigger the audience. The studio's strategy really shifted after Godzilla King of the Monsters. Despite its massive scale and deep Titan lore, it underperformed financially and left executives debating whether to keep pushing a shared universe or return to safer solo monster stories. Then came Godzilla vs. Kong in 2021, which proved the doubters wrong. That movie killed at the box office, and so did The New Empire. Those back-to-back wins locked in the new direction. Crossovers are now the backbone of the MonsterVerse. That doesn't mean it's all just monster brawls though. Producers and directors know fans want more. Stronger stories, meaningful character arcs, and real stakes. Adam Wingard, who directed The New Empire, has talked in interviews about shifting the focus back toward Godzilla. The last two films leaned heavily into Kong, giving him an emotional journey and even a bit of human-style drama. Meanwhile, Godzilla, despite being the icon of the franchise, has been playing second fiddle. Even Apple's Monarch series, which expanded the lore in new directions, didn't fully fix that imbalance. Fans noticed. Now, the studio seems ready to put Godzilla front and center again with a new solo project. It's not officially confirmed, but word is this film will follow the next crossover, Godzilla x Kong Supernova. That one's being directed by Grant Spatore, best known for I Am Mother, bringing him in Signals. Legendary wants a fresh perspective, maybe even a darker, more thoughtful tone. If things play out the way they're planning, this next era of the MonsterVerse could be the most exciting yet, mixing solo films, big crossovers, and the arrival of new titans. Reports suggest Supernova will go big on scale but keep a more grounded feel. Yes, there'll be massive battles and global stakes, but the studio is aiming for the darker, more atmospheric tone of Gareth Edwards' Godzilla, that primal fear of nature as an unstoppable force. And here's the twist. Even though SpaceGodzilla is rumored to be the villain, insiders say the vibe is much closer to gritty realism than the colorful comic book spectacle of The New Empire. It's a clear attempt to find balance, delivering the size and spectacle fans expect without losing emotional weight. That was the big knock against the last film. Lots of flash, but too many scenes felt flat or veered into cartoon logic. Supernova is locked in for March 26th, 2027, and right now it's the only major MonsterVerse release scheduled for that year. But the move into space feels like more than just upping the stakes. It lines up perfectly with where this universe is headed. Godzilla has faced cosmic-level threats before, and Toho's roster is stacked with space monsters still waiting for their big screen debut. If the rumors hold, the next phase of the MonsterVerse could finally bring Godzilla back as the centerpiece, and set the stage for some of his most legendary enemies to return. Back in 2023, Legendary quietly filed a trademark for Destroy All Monsters, a title that longtime fans instantly recognize as one of Toho's most legendary crossovers. In the original film, Godzilla and a lineup of kaiju joined forces against an alien threat. If Supernova is laying the groundwork for the cosmic side of the MonsterVerse, this could easily be the next big ensemble event, where every major titan gets pulled into the mix. Adam Wingard also revealed some fascinating behind-the-scenes details about the New Empire. Scar King and Shimu weren't just random villains, they were designed as dark reflections of the leads. Scar King was meant to be the anti-Kong, while Shimu was the anti-Godzilla. And here's the wild part, Shimu was never supposed to be redeemed. Early drafts had her written as a much darker and more mysterious presence. Instead of ending with her teaming up with Kong and Zuko to explore Hollow Earth, the original plan had her reaching out to ancient monsters hidden in the deepest levels, creatures that looked like twisted, shadowy versions of Godzilla himself. In that version, Shimu would have risen as a dark queen of the Titans, setting the stage for a much more ominous next chapter. And while that storyline was shelved, it doesn't mean it's gone for good. With Supernova and the rumored Godzilla solo film pushing deeper into cosmic horror and uncharted territory, both underground and out in space, it wouldn't be surprising if elements of that darker ending resurface. That's why Godzilla x Kong 3 feels less like just another crossover and more like a turning point. On one side, it's the climax of this cosmic storyline, but on the other, it's clearly a bridge into the MonsterVerse's next era. If Legendary keeps leaning into this ambitious, story-driven approach, we could be heading into the strongest phase the franchise has ever seen. What makes this especially exciting is that Supernova isn't the end of the line. It's really just the beginning of a brand new chapter. Legendary is building its own mythology, original characters, fresh lore, and a creative style that's not just leaning on Toho classics anymore. Monsters like Scar King and Shimu are proof of that. They're not redesigns or reboots. They're completely original creations, built to expand this universe in bold new directions. Some fans think Legendary's inventing new titans because of licensing limits since they only have the rights to Godzilla and Kong, but honestly, it might be more of a creative move. By building original monsters, the studio isn't chained to existing canon, which means they can take the story wherever they want. And it makes perfect sense. You can't keep a cinematic universe alive forever by only recycling legacy monsters. To keep things fresh, you need new heroes, new villains, and new myths. And right now, Legendary seems ready to deliver exactly that. So even if Supernova does bring in someone like SpaceGodzilla, chances are it won't be the exact version fans know from Toho. More likely, it'll be a reimagined take, maybe someone even calls him SpaceGodzilla as a wink to the audience, but officially, he'd have a fresh name and backstory. The same approach could apply to Destoroyah or even Monster X. Legendary might remix their designs, rewrite their origins, or shift their purpose, keeping things familiar but not locked down by the old canon. Looking at the bigger picture, the MonsterVerse roadmap is becoming clearer. First comes Season 2 of Monarch, already filmed and rumored to tease new titans, deeper Hollow Earth mysteries, and maybe even alternate dimensions. Then we hit Supernova, a cosmic-scale showdown with crystals, spaceborne threats, and possibly a cataclysm that cracks open the door to an even larger story. And after that, all signs point to Godzilla 3, potentially carrying the legendary Destroy All Monsters title. That could finally give us a true solo Godzilla movie, one that dives headfirst into his own mythology. And honestly, that's the film fans have been waiting for. They've been hinting at the Titan War for years, but imagine if this is the movie that takes us there. Ancient civilizations beyond the Iwi, the origins of Godzilla's species, his role as a godlike protector, and maybe even first contact with ancient cosmic beings who revered him as something sacred. A story like that could finally answer the biggest questions. Why Godzilla is the alpha, why he only rises when the world faces true crisis, and where his immense power comes from. If Legendary pulls it off, that next Godzilla film could become the centerpiece of the entire franchise, mythic, emotional, and epic in every sense of the word. And when it comes to the big villain after Supernova, all signs are pointing straight at Destoroyah. He's the ultimate nightmare, a monster born from the very weapon that killed the original Godzilla back in 1954. The Oxygen Destroyer didn't just end a legend, it left behind fallout that eventually evolved into something even more terrifying. Destoroyah is the embodiment of mankind's hubris, a living reminder that every attempt to kill a god comes with consequences. And he's grown into something far worse than the weapon itself, an unstoppable force of destruction. If Supernova ends with some catastrophic event, whether it's a cosmic surge, a rift in energy, or a titan imbalance, Destoroyah could be the one who awakens in the aftermath. That would set the stage perfectly for Destroy All Monsters. Now imagine Godzilla 3 opening with that kind of threat. New dangers emerging, global tensions rising, humanity once again caught between titans and its own reckless science. And Godzilla forced to step up yet again, not just as another monster, but as Earth's last line of defense. Throw in a few surprises along the way, maybe brand new titans, or the return of fan favorites like a reincarnated Mothra. Allies and enemies colliding, power struggles playing out, the kind of chaotic energy that makes the MonsterVerse so much fun to watch. And honestly, the timing couldn't be better. The MonsterVerse has already pulled in over 2 billion worldwide, proving it's not slowing down. It's only gaining momentum. The fan base keeps growing, the demand is higher than ever, and there's still so much left to explore. Sure, Legendary and Warner Brothers haven't officially announced Godzilla 3 yet, but let's be real, it's coming. The series is stronger than ever, and the future of the MonsterVerse looks bigger than anything we've seen so far.